Welcome. Welcome to today's channel and today's live. My name is Christine Crowell, and today we're going to be diving into one of the world's largest gold mines exposed, and it is in the hidden, it's a hidden secret. Uzbekistan, for example. These are mines that people aren't possibly aware of, but also there's things that people are keeping a secret that they don't want us to know about. So today I'm going to break that secret and I'm going to expose what this mine can actually do and what's happening in these mines, because we need to be aware of what's happening with gold and silver and precious metals, for example, and see what it is that we can gain from this knowledge as well. So join me live today as we travel to a beautiful mine called the Muruntau Mine. It is a $1 billion reserve. Yes, this is a secret gold empire in Uzbekistan, for example, and it is really amazing because this is like a secret. So who actually owns this gold, and are there stocks that you can invest in, for example? So welcome to today's live, and I'm going to be diving into the Muruntau gold mine, one of the world's largest gold deposits in Uzbekistan, for example. This is a gold mine that rivals even the legendary Fort Knox and South Africa. And this is South Africa has the Witwatersrand Basin, for example. But here's the big question. Does this mine, Muruntau, supply the global gold market? So are these stocks available for investments? And most importantly, who gets their hands on this gold? So stay tuned with me, because we're going to be breaking this down in this live, for example. First of all, smash like, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on content regarding gold, silver, and real wealth building strategies, because this is what this channel is about: how to build your wealth. So what is this mine and how big is it? So for those of you that's new here, let's break this down. The Muruntau mine is located in Uzbekistan, and it is considered one of the largest open pit gold mines in the world. It produces over 2 million ounces of gold per year, making it one of the top 10 gold producing countries. Now, you know, this is the series of a 10-part series of the world's wealthiest mines, for example, but also this is depleting as well. So there is an image, the thumbnail image is like the satellite view of this gold mine. Okay, and just to put things in perspective here, this gold mine, for example, alone has produced more gold than the entire gold reserves in some countries. And this is how massive it is. So let's go into who owns this gold and where does it go? The big question is, who actually owns this gold? It is available, for example, for investment, or is it locked away by the Uzbek government, for example? So the Muruntau is owned by the Nava Mining and Metal Metallurgical Company known as, and I'm going to say this for short, N for November, M for mother, M for mother, C for Charles. So that's NMMC, which is a state-owned. The gold mined here is largely retained by the government as part of its foreign reserves. Some of the gold, for example, it has been sold to global markets, but only through strict state control. And here's the interesting part. It has been increasing its gold reserves, making it one of the fastest growing gold holders in the world. So this means, for example, that not only is it offloading their gold like other countries, it's not offloading the gold like other countries, it keeps it to itself. Just imagine the visual that the gold export, where does it go? Where does this gold go to, for example? So I'm going to explain some of the main buyers here. So the main buyers are central banks, for example, which is owned again by the government, for example. A massive portion is retained in that reserve. Switzerland and China, gold refineries purchase Uzbek gold. Limited international sales, not widely available on the global stock market, for example. But just think about that. There's some main buyers there. So why not approach those main buyers of the organizations that buy from this mine, for example, and see what stocks they have available. So there is limited international sales, not widely available on the global stock market, but that doesn't stop you from approaching, for example, Switzerland and China, gold refineries purchase Uzbek gold. Okay, so can you invest in the Muruntau gold? Well, for now, here's what you need to know. Okay, so is there a way for you to invest in this gold? Are there stocks? Are mining shares available? And the answer is a little bit complicated. There is investment opportunities through the NMMC. It is a state controlled and it is not publicly traded. Uzbekistan is discussing partial privatization, meaning future opportunities could arise. So keep your eyes out for this. Put some sort of radar on this so that when it does become available, you're there, you're ready to buy, for example. So there are some alternative investments. Mining stocks that operate in Central Asia, for example. Some better investment opportunities for gold enthusiasts is there is things like the SPDR Gold Trust. There's shares in gold trusts, for example, and there's also mining stocks. So companies like, again, Barrick Gold, where Warren Buffett did invest in Barrick Gold, for example, or New Mount Minings are actively mining in the region similar to the Uzbekistan, for example. So, physical gold, buying and holding gold bars, coins and refined scrap gold, which I cover in my Gold Wealth training program. You cannot be holding physical gold. I don't know if you agree with me, but you cannot be having it in your hand, physical gold and physical silver. This is what I cover in the Gold Wealth training program. You see, because I'm approaching 60, it's making me think about my retirement plans, for example. And part of my YouTube channel is about building wealth, having exit strategies, looking at building wealth portfolios as well. Although I specialize in healthcare and have done so for 35 years, for example, but there's other things that we need to do as well to secure. Running a business is a very good option to get income coming into your business, but you cannot expect your business to just suddenly just fly and you're earning millions straight away. It is very rare that that happens. It takes years to build a business right. It really does. Now, for me, when I started many, many years ago, it took me 3 years to get to multiple 7 figures, for example, in my business. And that was over 35 years ago. And what I wish I would have done is I would have invested in these stocks as I was making income into the business. You see, you've got that opportunity now where there's AI, so that you can use some of that money that you're going to save in your business and start putting money into gold and silver and stocks, mining stocks, for example, or low risk stocks. I am not a financial advisor, and I advise you to seek financial advice. All I can tell you is what I am doing and looking at, and what I've done in 2007 before the crash happened, for example. So like physical gold, buying and holding gold bars or refined scrap gold is, I believe, is a good option, a very good option to have. So imagine, right, there's the gold ETF versus physical gold. Now I know that I prefer the physical gold, for example, but there's comparison. There's the mining stock that you can also look at purchasing, like the Barrick, like how Warren Buffett invested in Barrick Gold, for example, which was to do with the mining stock. Okay, so direct gold ownership is also the best way as well, because at least you know it's there, you've got it, you haven't got to wait months and months, and it's not on a piece of paper that, you know, could be devalued, or maybe you might not be able to get the physical gold itself, for example. So with regards to the mining privatization news, maybe you could look at those aspects in terms of looking to see when they're going to become available for you to be able to buy some of those mining stocks. When you're looking at stocks, you look at stocks that's going to be 5-10 year plan, not something that is quick, fast and easy, for example. So here's where things get really spicy. So given that they've got state control over the gold, is there a chance that the Muruntau gold is undervalued compared to the global market rates? So what are the factors that could be affecting the gold pricing, for example? Centralized control keeps prices stable, but may limit speculative gains, for example. There is the potential for underpricing. If there is a liberalized gold market, for example. So what is the gold future values depends on inflation, economy, and policies and geopolitical shifts, which we are seeing. We're hearing about the tariffs, we're hearing about inflation. There's a lot of things happening. People are losing their jobs, they're closing down departments, for example. They're basically doing this efficiency system. But what we need to be focused on is creating our own monetary system, and that is with silver and gold, as well as stocks, providing that you seek legal advice from a financial advisor, for example, or you do your own research. But you have to make that decision, for example. And you need to look at things that are long term, not something which is a short term risk, high risk, for example, something which is, going to be a thing that you do over a 5-10 year period, for example. So check out gold prices trends over 10 years. So the Muruntau production versus the global demand, check that out for yourself. Inflation, what is the impact on gold investments? We're seeing that gold is, at $3,000, for example. Silver is also increasing as well. Currently at the moment it's at $35 per ounce, for example, and I believe the true winner, and that's my opinion, is silver. Silver is like the tortoise, gold is like the hare, for example. So just think about that. Do your research, have a look, listen to different podcasts, listen to different videos, listen to my lives, for example, just to get familiar with the gold and silver markets, for example. So would you invest, if you were able to, if it became available, would you invest in the Muruntau gold if that stock became available? Comment yes or no in the chat. Do you prefer physical gold or gold stocks? I would love for you to comment below as well. So what's your gold price prediction for 2025? Do you think that, because some of the specialists, the analysis, some have said that the gold is going to go up to 5,000 per ounce. Do you think that's a possibility? And that silver is could go up to $800 per ounce. Do you think that's a possibility? We got to look at the gold prices and silver prices the way they are. And even though we've got this stock market where it's very volatile, up and down, try and go for things which are safe bets, things that aren't high risk, things that are steady, and really scrutinize it for like over 10 years. See what the curves are, the dips and the highs, for example. Because like I said, when you're looking at building stock, for example, you're looking at the long-term effect. So just imagine, right, that some of the analysts have said that, 5,000 the gold could go up to per ounce, even 10,000, 15, 20,000. That is quite a big jump, isn't it? Over the next couple of years, for example. But remember that the gold mines and the silver mines, they are depleting. So they need to make sure that they've got all of their gold, so that they need it in case that they're hit with a situation where they've got gold or silver as opposed to the currency, because the currency, the cash, is devaluing. So that's why it's important for you, whether you're in business or not, to look at these aspects and try and understand about where gold comes from. Whereabouts are you buying your gold, for example? So we've just uncovered one of the biggest gold mines on the earth, which is the Muruntau. But the real question really remains here is, will this open up to the gold market, to investors, or will it stay a secret and build its own gold empire? You want to stay ahead of the market trends. If that is so, subscribe and turn on your notifications. The next video is whereby I do have a video here where I talk about why Warren Buffett brought silver, for example, and why he is more interested in like businesses, investments like Coca-Cola, because he feels that will never shrink, for example, because he's watched the trends, for example. But he also has invested in gold as well as in silver, although he's sold it and used things like as a hedge, for example, as a hedge fund. But just remember that you can grow your portfolio, your wealth portfolio, with purchasing things that are safe, that is not going to drop drastically, because sometimes in the stock markets things do drop. But if you've got something which is safe, like healthcare, for example, then usually that doesn't drop so much, for example, but it will go back up again. So you've got to look at what type of stocks that you want to purchase, for example. And I'm going to be going into some healthcare stocks that are steady, that is, a long-term plan, that is, if you're looking at your pension, for example, put in towards a pension, or something else in 5-10 years time, then these are the perfect things to do, for example. So I do have a link here if you're interested in buying gold and silver. I am an affiliate, and I will put the link here of the company that is reputable and has been going for many, many, many years, for example. But also, I want to also say to you, thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate you subscribing to our YouTube channel. I've come on earlier than what I usually do, because usually I come on about 7 p.m. UK time, for example. But I thought I'll try and come on a bit earlier to try and catch different time zones as well, because we need to look at the monetary system, that the currency and the inflation has caused the currency to devalue, for example. And gold is high because of the currency. Warren Buffett, he talked about, when he was a child, for example, that the dollar would be the dollar. But as of today, it has really gone down in value. I believe it's at 75 cents as opposed to $1. Warren Buffett even mentioned that at one point it had gone down to 6 cents per dollar. So I always also watch what Warren Buffett is doing, and there is an amazing book that is called The Snowball Effect. And if you're interested in wealth building, because at the end of the day, there's things that we can do to help build our wealth. Property, but you've got to buy at the right time. For example, you don't want to buy at a high price and then you lose everything because there's a crash. For example, business. You start a business. That is an income generator. These are things that don't necessarily happen straight away. You got to spend time, you got to get to know it. And if you're going into a business, you really must understand about all aspects of that business in order to make it work, and not chop and change because you've listened to what other people have said. It's got to be aligned with you and what you want for your organization. Okay, so business is the second one. Third one, gold and silver, definitely, to help build your wealth, because the value does not go down. For example, it holds its value and it goes up. It may be slow if it's the silver, the tortoise. Gold is $3,000 per ounce. But let me tell you something, you can actually purchase scrap gold and silver and hold scrap gold parties, for example, and get them at even up to 30% off, discounted. Scrap gold or silver. And this is, I'm referring to broken jewelry here. I'm not talking about all old jewelry, things that people don't want anymore, for example. Things where it's a broken chain, things where it's a broken earring, things where someone's lost an earring, for example, and you hold a party or someone hosts a party for you, for example, and each person brings their broken jewelry, and then you can turn it into gold and silver. You separate it into gold and silver. Obviously you test it. You've got your eye loop to make sure that it's, branded, for example. You've got your testers, your acid testers, to make sure that it is the right metal, for example. It's not copper instead of silver or gold, for example. And then once you've got an amount, you can then have that changed. You can have that refined into a gold bar or a silver bar. And there's plenty of refineries out there. And I wanted to talk to you about that because that's something which I did with my husband in 2007. That was something that he started, and I did it with him, and we went, and people were hosting these gold parties, and we went and attended. We would bring crisp potato chips, for example, peanuts, for example, a bottle of wine, fizzy drinks, for example, and then we would have our testing equipment, scales. We would have a piece of paper, newspaper, of what the gold prices were, for example, and then we would then weigh the gold that each person would bring, and then we would then offer them a price, not at the gold spot price or the silver spot price. We would offer it at a reduced price. And then once the month would be up, you would have quite a bit of gold or silver, for example. Probably wait about the third month. Then you take it to a refinery so they can turn them into gold bars or silver bars, for example. And you then keep it because it will hold its value. If you've got gold coins, silver coins, or gold bars, silver bars, they hold their value, but they're also liquid cash. This, I believe, is the best monetary type of system that you could have, rather than the dollar, the pound, the cash, the yen, the euro, for example. These are the best things to have, especially at times like now. And this is the reason why I'm talking to you about this, because it's not just for business owners, it's for people that are interested in building wealth and growing their wealth portfolios. There's so many different ways to build and grow a wealth portfolio. And today I've spoken about the mine, but they are mining organizations which will sell some of their stock to you, and you can't really go wrong with gold and silver. You really can't. I haven't even gone into uranium and all the other types of other precious metals, for example rhodium. I haven't gone into all of that yet, but there's so many different types of stocks that you can get which are safe and not so volatile, that it is a steady growth over a 5-10 year period. Last night I spoke about, there's two people that I know of they put their money into a slow stock, a very slow stock that was safe. And then after 10 years, they were able to get 100 grand, for example. And boy, did I wish I followed what they were doing. That was when I was in my 20s. They were doing that. They were very sensible. They were in their 20s as well, but they were very sensible people. So imagine if you can do something like that, and then in 5-10 years time, you're able to receive the income from it, which can then help pay for your retirement or semi-retirement, or even a child's university or college fund, or even a down payment for a house. It is well worth doing. Same with the gold and silver. You can purchase a property by buying gold over a 5-year period. For example, you could quite easily earn like $400,000 if done correctly, for example, to put down on a house, for example. And this is with you doing scrap gold. Seriously, it is amazing what can be achieved right now. If we just think outside of the box, stop looking at the cash, thinking that, you see, we've always heard that word, that saying, cash is king. It's not anymore. Gold is king. Silver is king. Precious metals is king and queen, for example. That's where we should be focused on, because the cash is devaluing on a regular basis. The tariffs are coming out. You know, people are stocking up on food. People are, they've got these emergency kits. There's the tariffs, and this is affecting the world, basically. But it all seems to be around gold and silver, and how much gold or silver or precious metals someone has got on their land, that people seem to be fighting over. But we can also get a piece of the gold and silver if we purchase the stocks, for example, or buy the gold and silver, auctions, eBay. There's lots of different ways you can buy jewelry. Scrap jewelry is, I believe, the far best. Even though I've got some links on here for bullions, for you to buy coins, silver, and bullions, for example, through reputable companies. But like I said, I always got my own scrap gold, got my own scrap silver. My husband did, should I say, and we did it together. And we then got them refined. We got them smelted down into gold bars and silver bars. Now, wouldn't that be a good way of doing things, especially if you can get it at a reduced price than what the spot price is? Because I believe the spot price is a bit over inflated. However, that's the price at the moment with regards to the gold, for example. But I also know that by getting scrap gold and scrap silver and getting it melted down, but you've purchased it at a reduced price, say 30%, for example, then surely that is the better deal than purchasing something. It depends really how much time you've got on your hands. Some people, they just don't want to be bothered. They've got work, they're wealthy, they haven't got time for that. They just want it. They just want the solid block delivered to them. End of story. I haven't got time to be doing scrap gold parties. Everybody is different. So this is why I'm here to tell you about the different methods that you can acquire wealth by following different things that suit you. So I hope that that was helpful to you all today. thank you so much for being here. I know that this was a bit short, 30 odd minutes, for example, but I wanted to share with you one of the world's largest gold mines, and it is Uzbekistan hidden gold secret. And at the moment you can't purchase from there, but look at other gold and silver mines that you can purchase stocks from. And it's good to know where we can get this gold from, for example. It's good to know where we buy our gold from or where it's come from. Like I said, Barrick Gold, Warren Buffett purchased stock from Barrick Gold, quite a lot of stock. And I do have a video on that here as an edge, for example. But he also likes to invest in businesses as well that is profitable, that's going to make money, and it's not versatile, for example. So I hope that you've enjoyed today, and thank you so much. Thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful evening. I will put the link here. If you want to book a free 15-minute appointment with me, please do so. And I look forward to speaking with you all soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, whether it's morning, evening, or good afternoon. Have a wonderful day. Signing off, and I'll speak with you later. Thank you. Bye.